Hello team, welcome to my session on Coffee with Prabh, and today we're going to discuss about cissp-issap Coffee Short Session 2. In this session also I'm going to discuss 5 questions which is mapped with some topics of ISSAP. If you're new to my YouTube channel, do subscribe to my YouTube channel and click on the bell icon to make sure you should not miss my future videos. My name is Prabh Nair. For more information you can refer my LinkedIn profile. Thank you. So let's start with the first part. Okay, so access management is one of the important topic of ISSAP because as a security architect, you need to ensure that, okay, what kind of access control you want to implement. And based on that only, I have discussed some coffee shots here. So we have a two type of access control, centralized and decentralized. So question talking about which of the following is a primary advantage of using a security architect to implement centralized access control in the organization. So as a security architect, you're trying to convince the management that we should go for access control, centralized or decentralized. So what is the advantage and disadvantage? Option A, audit log access. So that is the advantage we have in the centralized also and decentralized also. Centralized like IDaaS, decentralized is like, every system managed by themselves. Option B, single point of management. Yes, so that is something as a important advantage we have when we're going for the centralized access management, because from one particular console like Azure Cloud Management Console, we can manage everything. Definitely centralized access control is not scalable because more and more resources basically we add, it's difficult to manage. Compliance with applicable law regulation can be achieved in both. So that is not something is a primary advantage. So the most important or primary advantage of implementing a centralized access control as a security architect when I'm convincing is called as a single point of management, because from one particular console you can manage everything. And along with that, it also offers consistency. That's why I'm going with the answer B for beta. Okay, let's move to the next coffee shot. Thank you. Okay, so which of the following is the primary disadvantage? In a previous question it was an advantage, but this time it's talking about disadvantage of using a security architect to implement centralized access control. Simplicity definitely there, so B definitely removed. Standardization is an advantage. Question talking about disadvantage. Ease of user administration is there when you're talking about in advantage of centralized, but question talking about disadvantage. So one disadvantage is single point of failure. Just imagine Azure console, if that is down, everything is down. Kerberos, if that is down, everything is down. Federation, if the Gmail is down, every console access is down. So answer is basically A. So always remember primary advantage of centralized access control. Okay, primary advantage of centralized. Let me note down here, centralized. If I say advantage, then advantage is basically called as a easy to manage. And second advantage is we have called as a standardization, because everything is managed from one thing. But when you're talking about disadvantage, the first disadvantage is scalability. Second disadvantage we have called a single point of failure, because if everything is down, if server is down, everything is down. So as a security architect, you need to be very clear with this basic concept. That's why the answer is A for alpha. So let's move to the next coffee shot. So which of the following is the primary disadvantage of using a security architect to implement decentralized access control? Now, what is decentralized access control? That's a question. Decentralized mean, example, like we have a head office in US. Okay, we have a head office in US, and now we have a branch office in India. We have another office in Pakistan. We have an office in Bangladesh, and we have an office in Sri Lanka. Now, if I say centralized, everything is basically managed from US. Okay, there is no freedom, there is no flexibility, there is a standardization. Okay, but when you're talking about decentralized, so we have a local IAM team in all the location. Whatever the local SharePoint access, the user will reach the local team, from there they get access. So advantage is there, flexibility is there, freedom is there, faster response is there. But disadvantage is what? They will manage their own parameters, and according to that they give access. Pakistan manage their own access parameters. Bangladesh, Sri Lanka manage their own access parameter, and according to that they give. Definitely we have a faster way to respond to the things, but there's a disadvantage. So option A talking about lack of consistency. Definitely that is one of the disadvantage we have. Simplicity is advantage of centralized. Okay, that is also one of the there is no simplicity actually, because each and every department manage their own self. But from their point of view it's simple because they have to manage themselves. Standardization is not there. Flexibility is there. So A and C is very close. Okay, but the primary disadvantage is that each and every department is basically manage their own things, so there is no consistency. That's why the answer is A. Standardization is happening within their micromanagement at least, but consistency is basically missing because each and every locations manage their own access parameter. Let's move to the next coffee shot. Okay, which of the following, it's a very good question, which of the following is the primary factor need to be considered when reviewing access control mechanism implementation effectiveness? Three keywords are there. We are reviewing, it means audit, validating, and second is question talking about effectiveness, and third is implementation effectiveness. So option A, operational and usable. So question talking about as a security architect, when you're implementing access control and you want to now test the effectiveness, how you test the effectiveness, what is a parameter based on which you say okay it is effective. Okay, this is because it question talking about primary factor. Example, I am an architect and I have implemented something. So if an auditor is coming for an audit, what is his primary intention when he reviewing that? So during a reviewing, the most important thing are option A, operational and usable. Makes sense because operational mean access control must work as intended with desired result, and usable is basically mean difficult to use or will ultimately prove ineffective if something is there. Usable mean it is manageable. So when I'm as an auditor, when I'm auditing, is it matter for me? Definitely. The control should be in an operational nature and it should be usable. Option B is standardization and flexibility. See, standardization coming into the centralized and flexibility coming to decentralized. So it varies. So B definitely not an option. Policy regulation, definitely we have implemented the control and that is comply with policy regulation. Example, like we have a policy which say 8-character password, and access control has implemented 8-character password. But what is the assurance of its effectiveness? Just compliance with the policy is not something an important factor. Testing requirement is an input when we're going for an audit. So the most close option is look like a operational and usable, because that is the most important thing. If I'm implementing firewall, it should be operation in nature, it should be usable in nature. And if it's operation usable in nature, it automatically achieves the B and C. That's why as a security architect, when he implementing any control, he should consider the operational and usable parameter in his feature. And as an auditor, he need to consider this point also. That's why the answer is A. So let's move to the next coffee shot. Okay, so your company recently received a government contract. An application that will process sensitive data is now being fine-tuned by developers. All computers that use this program are required to be separated under the terms of contract. Which option best meet this requirement? So as an architect, when I receive such kind of a case study, I'm looking for some kind of an isolation. Okay, because they're talking about government contract. So they're looking for an application for the government. Make sure that should be isolated from other. Okay. So which option best meet this requirement? Implemented firewall, but that is more limited to the network. So A removed. Build a air gap network. That is also very effective because it's a combination of technical and physical control. Implement IPS is more like a one control which is used to monitor the packets. Create DMZ and deploy application. D is part of a B itself, because building an air gap network can be happen in the DMZ also, and we can achieve through the firewall and IPS. So A, C, D is part of a B. So we can have an air gap network which is completely isolated from other. And as an architect, I will go for that solution. That's why the answer is B for beta. This is all from my side, team. If you find this video useful, do share in your network. Do share your feedback in the comment box and let me know what is the next video you want on ISSAP. Thank you for watching my video. Have a great day.